Welcome back to the Stevenage Sheet Metal Super 1 British Karting Championships. It's Senior X30 up next. Joining me is the winner from Landau, that's Dean Hale. Now, Dean, you were in the Rotax classes for a lot of years. In X30 now, tell me a little bit of difference between the two engines that you found.
Mainly, the way I describe the Iami X30 is it's the speed of a Rotax with the throttle response of a TKM, basically. So with the Rotax, when you're driving it, you have to sort of ease the throttle on out of the corners. This, you can give it a bit more whack off the corners. Other than that, the costs are pretty much the same because you can obviously build them yourselves and work on them yourselves. Yeah,
these aren't sealed, the X30s, the Rotax was. It's interesting what you're saying there. I was talking to Mark Baines, who runs his own team at Houghton Park. The early hype on the X30 was that it's going to be a lot cheaper than Rotax, but Mark was saying that that's not proving to be the case from his experience, and that seems to be what you're saying as well. The maintenance costs are around about the same, even though you can maintain this yourself?
Yeah, it's all about the same. Buying an engine, again, works out pretty equal. And rebuild costs are about the same. It does gain, though, in the fact that the engines, I think we've only ever found about 0.2 between two engines. They're a lot more closer. I mean, when I was racing Rotax, I've tested engines that there's been more than half a second between. So that's the big gain, why I've stuck to this class.
Okay, and new sponsor this year for you, Money for Your Motor. How important has that been? We've not seen you in Super 1 for a while, so that must have been quite important for them to come on board.
Yeah, it's good of them. Les has sorted out all the sponsorship. They're being a big help, and yeah, I wouldn't be here without them.
So the Melio Sport boys will line up on row 2 behind Jamie Flynn and Collings. It's Dean Hale and Max Goldsmith then on the second row. Mooney, Wilson, Reith and Malin as they make their way out of the final turn. And is Jamie Flynn going to get the jump of the lights? Yes, he does. Into the first corner nicely, and Dean Hale has followed into second position. So a great start to proceedings then from Dean Hale. And already he's charging after Jamie Flynn as they go into the double apex for the first time. And that is the 16 of Wilson going up the inside of Craig Mooney. He almost pitched him into a spin there. They both managed to get away with that one.
Lewis Malin took advantage. He made up a place at the back of the field, so it's still Jamie Flynn out front with Hale and the former Welsh champion Josh Collings in behind. Max Goldsmith on the 66 there in fourth place with 83. Craig Mooney right in behind him.
Well, it looks as if the leader is already going defensive here. Jamie Flynn.
Malin made up a place in the final corner, Jake.
Yes, indeed. He managed to get the move done on the inside line, so Malin is up another position with Wilson and Reith not far behind. Here we go for the lead, and that is a big mistake from Flynn. He's going to go down to fourth position behind Goldsmith, possibly even fifth, so the new leader is Hale. Second position, that is now the former C-plate, Collings. Third place is Goldsmith, not for long. Here comes Malin. Down to sixth position is the number 27 of Jamie Flynn.
So Flynn led into the double apex at the bottom of the circuit. Half a lap later he's down to sixth place. Welcome to karting, folks.
Pay attention, kids. You might learn something. The senior X30s are having an absolutely cracking battle, but Hale has now hit the front. Collings in second position. Third is now Malin doing a brilliant job in third position. Goldsmith fourth. Here comes Mooney up the inside. Can he get the move done? Yes, he does. He positions himself very nicely there for the first of the apexes. Now, they need to be careful because Flynn is going to be on the comeback charge in sixth position. He's going to want to try and get onto these two very quickly. In fact, here he comes up the inside of Goldsmith to take on both of them. Oh, he's collided with both of them. Mooney and Goldsmith collide with Flynn, and that is an absolute disaster for all three of them. It looks as if Mooney's got away best of the three. Goldsmith has got going, but unfortunately, I hate to say it, Flynn might have been the architect of his own demise there.
Now he's the one doing the overtaking, of course, so if it's been spotted, and there's not many karts on track, so you'd have to assume it may have been, if it's been spotted, if it's reported to the clerks of the course, the officials, then they will deal with that. And as he was the one doing the overtaking, now we didn't see the full overtake, of course, but he was the one doing the overtaking, we know that, and if he's deemed to be at fault, then that could be a black flag, but there doesn't seem to be any warning flag out at the moment. Maybe it's not been spotted, and I've said before, I'll say it again, the officials can only deal with what they see themselves, and of course they may be in the office dealing with other issues, They can only deal with what they see themselves or is reported to them, nothing else.
Malin's got a problem. Sorry, Alan. Malin's got a problem. From third position, he is definitely in trouble. The kart is slowing dramatically. Up to P4 has come the 88 of Oliver Reith. So he is there in fourth behind the new third place man, Ewan Wilson. Malin has definitely got a problem. He was overtaken round the outside at turn 1 by Wilson. He has definitely got issues with the kart. Look, he's adjusting something to his right there. He is desperately trying to get that kart up to full speed again, but Wilson is now through to third. Fourth position is the 88 of Reith, and down to fifth place goes the 32 of Lewis Malin.
Looks like he may be adjusting something on the carburettor, possibly, not so sure. Well, in fact, as we switch across there, looks like he's hitting the top of the spark plug cap, so he's obviously not happy with something not running properly on that kart. Anyway, that looks like his race is over.
Yeah, Mooney's gone through into fifth position, and Malin is just going backwards, unfortunately, down the field. Here comes Goldsmith to try and close him in, and it won't be too long before Jamie Flynn is there behind him as well. What a shame for Malin. He had a podium pretty much sewn up there, actually, because he got a good gap to the drivers behind him, and after that contact with Flynn, Goldsmith and Mooney, that was very much his podium for the taking, and it's now fallen apart at the seams through mechanical gremlins. This is starting to feel a bit like Monaco 96, when no drivers ended up coming through. They only had 3 finishers in the Formula 1 race. Now we're getting karts tumbling by the wayside here at Larkhall in Senior X30. This is a bizarre race.
Dean Hale doing well to stay out front, though. He's the one being chased. It's easier to chase than be chased, but Hale is hanging on to that lead. He's not got much of a lead. Collins there, highly experienced driver, former Welsh champion. That looks like Dean Hale may have a problem with his exhaust here. It's bouncing around. I don't like that, and there's a chance he could get a mechanical flag if that gets much worse.
Do you remember when James Hunt in Monaco said we've got a ridiculous situation, we're waiting for a winner to come past and we don't seem to be getting one? We're starting to have a race a bit like that. There is smoke, by the look of it, coming from Dean Hale's kart now. Am I right in seeing there's definitely some smoke?
Not so sure. Can't see very much there. But he's holding on out front. But look at that exhaust. It's bouncing on the brackets. If that gets worse, they'll give him a mechanical flag for that, because they'll be worried, as you see it bouncing up and down.
Absolutely.
They'll be worried that it's going to come off and fly into the face of the driver behind, of course. At the moment, he's okay. I think it's all right, but it is bouncing around, and of course that can affect the performance of the engine as well. But Collins just can't seem to get close enough to make the move. This is a good performance by Dean Hale, highly experienced driver, of course, as is Josh Collins, though. And look at this, he's getting closer. He can judge his braking on what Dean Hale is doing, and he's certainly getting slightly closer to the leader.
Well, is Josh Collins going to get the victory in this race by virtue of the fact that his kart is holding together? It seems to be that kind of race at the moment. It is so bizarre what we're seeing. We've seen a 3-kart pile-up, and all 3 drivers now drop to the back. We've had Malin in third position fallback, and now we are not sure, but we think that Dean Hale has a problem related to the exhaust. It is flapping in the breeze. You can see it as he bounces over the curbs, and Josh Collins is now just reeling him in. Now, we have got a very bizarre set of circumstances if Hale's kart decides to give up the ghost as well. But from Josh Collins' point of view, it could be an absolutely perfect chance to seal the victory, but he's going to push on.
2 laps to go as they cross the line this time, so he's only got 2 laps to get past Dean Hale. Dean, if he has a look and sees him there, may start defending. He's not defending yet, down into the double apex at the bottom of the circuit. 1.5 laps to go. Collins certainly getting closer, or he's got closer, but he just can't seem to get right onto the back of him and make the move.
Well, he's close enough to see that exhaust flapping in the breeze. I wonder, is he actually being slightly too cautious here? Is he seeing that? Well, no, sorry,
No.
He is actually closing in now. My apologies. I was just saying,
He's
closing
in.
in.
He's not going to be bothered about that, whether it's flapping around or not. He's just going to try and make a way past. There's the starter holding out the last lap board. Last lap as they go past this time through the left-hander down to the left-hander, second left-hander down to the double apex. So Collins put in the fastest lap, but he's not in track position.
I smell a battle royale on the last lap here. If he gets a whiff of opportunity, he is going to gung-ho for it. Into the right-hander they fly, and Collins is right on the back of Hale. Can he throw it up the inside? Not quite close enough.
Surprised he didn't there. He left the door open, Dean Hale. Surprised he didn't have a go there. Mate, look here in the final turn, Jake.
Here he goes. Let's see. Can he make a slingshot? He's going to go for it. Hale defends to the inside line. Collins is going to get the switch back. It's going to be a drag race to the finish line. Who gets it? I think it's just Hale who managed it. Collins was so close to him over the finish line, but it looks to me as though Dean Hale has just hung on for the victory in front of Josh Collins. We wait for the timings. Yes, it is confirmed. Dean Hale just beating Collins by 0.07 of a second. Get this, their sector 1 times were identical to the 100th of a second, and then there were 0.02 of a second between 2 and 3. Nothing between them in that race. Hale just beating Collins by a couple of centimetres. Wilson in 3rd place in front of Craig Mooney. Reith, Goldsmith and Jamie Flynn finish off the runners, with Lewis Malin unfortunately retiring from the race after just 5 tours of the circuit. But what a victory for Dean Hale by just 0.07 of a second.
Another race win for you, Dean, but you were kept honest in that one, weren't you, all the way through?
Yeah, it's pushing me hard right away from the start. Luckily, I managed to get into the lead from 3rd. Yeah, I was hoping to be a little bit quicker than Josh, but it didn't work out that way. Just had to defend on the last lap, and yeah, played out well. Yeah, just want to thank the moneyandfreedomotors.com. Yeah, hopefully they'll enjoy watching it on TV at home.
I'm sure they will. Well, that's all we have time for from Larkhall in Scotland. We're off to Shellington in the south of the country for one of the biggest club events of the season. It's the Shellington Super Prix and New E-Plate. But before we go, it's with a great deal of sadness that I have to report the death of a marshal from Forest Edge Kart Club. Len Smart was the chief marshal at the club. He served for many years and was both respected and loved by those who knew him. Len sustained serious injuries in an incident at the kart club's meeting recently and tragically succumbed to his injuries in hospital some time later. It's a reminder that without the time given up by marshals, nobody competes in motorsport anywhere in the world. The Super One organisation wishes to extend its condolences to Len's family, friends and colleagues.